like your homework is on supply curve. Okay, very good. All right, so I have got some homework already. I've seen homework from other classes. And please do not get the two mixed up. So if I were to draw a supply curve, how should it shape like? Somebody tell me.
Supply.
I know, Henry, you go like that. So maybe that would be like this, right? Can you describe it?
Upward sloping.
Upward sloping, very good. So this is your SS. Okay, that's your supply curve. And your demand curve is downward sloping. So do not get these two confused. If you draw demand curve upward sloping, supply curve downward sloping, you will probably fail the whole class. I'm telling you right now, because it is that fundamental that you cannot afford to get the two mixed up. Okay, and I also want to emphasize that the determinants for supply, they are very different from the determinants for the demand. Because we look at the other day, okay, Anthony had mentioned a couple, the price of complements, the price of substitutes. Now, if you've missed the class, especially if you have missed 2 classes, it is really your responsibility to catch up. And so please do that, yeah. So I'm not going back just for you, it's, you should catch up. Thank you. Okay, so, and the other things as well, we talk about income, remember? If your income goes up, you buy more of that good. What do we call that kind of goods?
Normal good.
Normal good, okay, thank you. If your income goes up, you buy less of it. We gave example for ramen, remember? With the noodles that you throw it out if your income goes up. What do we call this kind of good?
Inferior good.
Inferior good. Okay, very good. And then we also talk about expectation of prices in the future. We talk about Mac computers, what happened, you expect the price to go up, then you would quickly buy now. But then if you expect it to come down, then you would actually delay, your purchase. Okay, let's look at supply side. So these are all the supply side determinants. Could I get a volunteer to read it? You got your book? I should stop giving extra credit for you to bring books to the class. I think I might do that. Yeah, that might be good. Not today. I'm just telling you in advance. That's like a good thing. Might be a good thing to do. Yeah. All right. What, you didn't buy the book? Why not? You could talk to me if you want to. I may be able to help you.
Oh no, I got it, but I don't like.
You just don't want to bring it.
I don't
to
like
class,
walking around
yeah.
with a lot of stuff in my hand.
Yeah, whatever. You paid for it. Yeah. That's right. Okay, so let's look at page 90. Is that 95? 83. Would somebody read it? Can I get a volunteer to read it?
What are we reading?
Miss Snyder, we are reading the recap for the supply curve, yeah, on top portion. The sky blue box you got there.
What is like 1 through 6?
Yep. 5. 1 to 5. We already read that one.
Oh, right here. Okay. Factors that cause an increase in supply: a decrease in the cost of materials, labor, or other inputs used in the production of the good or service; an improvement in technology that reduces the cost of producing the good or service; an improvement in the weather; an increase in the number of suppliers; an expectation of lower prices in the future.
Okay, one more sentence.
When these factors move in the opposite direction, supply will shift left.
Shift left. Right? Is that what you read? Okay. Very good. Thank you. So, the reason I want her to read it is I want you to know that this answers when you do your homework problem. Don't forget what she just read, which is also in your book. So go back to this 5 factors, and chances are the answer will be one of these 5. So, and remember, I do not want you to just, which is basically what we got here. How many of you actually print out the PowerPoint slides and bring it to the class? How many of you do that? Nobody? So you're relying a lot on taking notes, I hope. Sometime I collect your notes at the end of the class, or ask you to show me and give extra credit that way too.
Notes.
Sorry?
You don't give her time. You be flipping the screen too fast.
Well, that's the reason I'm asking you to bring it, print it and bring it to the class.
Oh,
Because
and
I can
you-
slow down just for you, yeah.
All right.
Right.
Appreciate it.
So if you're slow, then I have given you advice before. See, every minute I stop and explain that, my marginal cost goes up. I'm trying to equate my marginal benefit to the marginal cost here, so. All right, let's look at the first factor. The first one is talking about, let's look at this, again, the hinge for you when you do homework problem. Okay, let's look at this one first. On top, you say the effect on the skateboard market of an increase in the price of fiberglass. Let me ask you this: what's the relationship between fiberglass and skateboards? What is it? Okay, all the 5 factors that Haley had just read a while ago. Go back and look at it. So, which factor are we talking about, Hunter?
Well, it's a supply, so if it's a decrease in the cost of materials.
Okay, very good. The cost of material. Okay. So in this case, the fiberglass is the raw material that you use to make skateboard. And since it say that the market on the skateboard, so that's the market we're looking at. I'm putting everything SB here. Okay, so in your homework problem, you have to draw a diagram, and I want precise, meaning that you have to tell me what market you're looking at, okay? Whatever, spell it out, skateboard or SB, what have you. So you start with a market like that where you have equilibrium, price, and quantity, and then you will analyze it now. So what is it? So the factor is there's an increase in the price of fiberglass. So we're looking at the supply side, not the demand side now. So in other words, if the cost of making the skateboard is higher, so let me ask you, would you make more or would you make less? You will make less. So this is how you reason and this is how you analyze it. So if you would make less and we're looking at supplier side, so we will shift only the, which one? Supply or demand curve?
Supply.
The supply curve only, and to which direction? To the left or to the right? A while ago we say we should decrease, right? Or we should increase. Which one? If the price goes up, it's more expensive now, so would you make more? You will make less. So that means supply curve will shift to the
Left.
to the left. Very good. Let's see if you're right. Ta-da! Very good. So this is how you reason, okay? When you look at your homework problem, you have to say, okay, so which of the factors? And remember, in your homework problem, when I'm explaining this, I'm also explaining how to get the full credit for your homework problem. I'm asking for reasons. Okay, reasons mean, and some students are very good. They say, oh, that's factor number 1. The cost of, what Hunter just said, the cost of raw material, that's what it is. And then you have to analyze, okay, so what happened? And then, would it cause the supply curve to shift? And then you have to ask, which direction? Economics is always like that. To the left or to the right? Would you walk forward or would you walk backward? When you go out that door, would you turn left or would you turn right? Would you make profit or would you make loss? Don't make that mistake because for business students, that's very important because if you work for Obama, you tell him like, oh wow, I think we got a profit of 20 billions. And turns out it was the other way. Ooh, that's a big mistake. You tell him we're making profit, but actually we're in a loss, in the pink, so it's a negative number. Okay, so supply curve shift to the left, and then again, the answer is the final effects. So if you were to draw the graph, please everybody, use arrow, or you could use A or B. That will indicate the first equilibrium point and the second equilibrium point. So from A to B, we say that equilibrium price has gone up. So we say P star goes up, Q star
Goes down.
goes down. Very good. So that's how you would do it. So that's your answers right there. So again, if you look at demand side, right, they both move in the same direction. PQ, P and Q goes up, and then if demand curve shift to the left, both P and Q comes down. And then in this case, it's not like that. It's one goes up, the other one comes down. So then the question would be, which one up, which one down? So that's the kind of answer I'm expecting. But remember, everybody, not just draw the graph and show me what is or how, which when you do the graph, you're basically showing the how, but I also want you to explain the why. Okay, why would be, for example, in this case, oh, because it's more expensive, I'm giving it verbally, to produce fiberglass, which is the raw material you use to make skateboard. Therefore, producer will tend to produce less of it. Produce less of it means you shift to the, oh, left, yeah. I mean, your left, my right, okay, or the other way. All right, so you think everybody could do it? Now, when I do the graph on the board, you should really do it with me, because that's one thing that even some of my MBA students that got their homework back already, and most students don't have problem because that requires you to actually read through the thing, watch the video. How many of you have watched a video already? So we got some video on the Blackboard side. Please watch it. That will help you. Yes. Resources are there. I told you there's one on Indiana Jones. I think I make it available to other class, not this class, but I could put it in there. Okay, next, let's look at the next factor. So in other words, the problem we just look at relates to point number 1, what Haley had just read earlier. Okay, let's look at this second example here. In this second example, we're looking at the market for what? What market are we looking at? Housing market, not the carpenter's market. So what's the relationship between a carpenter and housing? What is it? Go back and look at one of these factors, see if you could make some sense out of it. Well, okay, carpenters are like, when you build a house, you need carpenters. Some people are jack of all trades, you could be everything. Look at me, I can be electrician, I could be a plumber, I could be a carpenter. But the point here is we're looking at the housing market. So this would be housing, QH, and PA. Got it? So you draw the L, and then you can close your eyes, draw your X, and then open your eyes very quickly and label it A, and then B star, Q star. So everybody should be able to start up with a diagram like that on your homework and label it clearly. What market are we talking about here? Then the next thing is analyzing. So let's analyze it. So carpenters, y'all have not answered my question. So what's the relationship between carpenters and housing?
Houses are made of wood.
Yes, I'm sorry?
Houses are made of wood. I'm guessing.
Houses are made for carpenters?
No, I said they're made of wood like carpenters.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we need carpenters. Okay, Hunter?
They're the labor force that would build the
Very
house.
good. Yes. So they are the labor force of the housing market, just like plumbers, electricians. So therefore, it is considered input, the cost of production. So that's also point 1. You go back to it. Look at what Haley just read, right? A decrease in the cost of materials or labor. So this is the cost of labor or other inputs, like a machine, for example. So in this case, what did we say? A decline in the carpenter's wage rate. So is that good? Is that make it cheaper to build, or is that more expensive?
It's cheaper.
Cheaper to build. So therefore, you will supply more or less.
More.
You will supply more. So therefore, you would expect which line to move?
Supply.
Supply curve to move to the
Right.
to the right. Very good.
That's your little.
So that's your B right there. So tell me what are the effects here, somebody. Raise your hand if you want to try it. Shamika, do you want to try? You smile. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. I think you can do it. Go ahead. So P
Price
star is
down.
P star comes down. Very good. Yes.
Bonnie go up.
And that one goes up. Yes. So how do you know? Because you're moving from left to right, and then this is coming down here. So we don't have a number there, and in your homework problem, you don't have to provide a number. On the test, sometimes we have numbers, sometimes we don't have. So the point here is if you're moving, shifting up, the number comes down, okay, in this case, we have a number, 120 to 90, and then this one goes up. So numbers are not necessary in your homework, but very clear graph with arrows are expected. Andrews, what's your question?
That's exactly how you want to do a homework, like how you wrote it on the board.
Yeah, you have to analyze it. You can't put all scenario, you know. So that's just one example, yeah. But that's how I want it, yes. Great. And remember, it's very important that you explain the reason why. So in this case, will be because carpenter is considered a labor, so the cost of labor has gone up, or come down. Now, this point has got something to do with the second one, an improvement in technology that reduces cost of production. So in this case, you're looking at the market for a service now instead of product. In this case, it's term paper revision. So this is the old days. In the old days, well, not the old days, but you know, I'm trying to give an example. Like in the old days, how many of you still have typewriters at home? Okay. In the 80s, were you born in the 80s or 90s? I have to keep asking. 90s, right? Sorry. I actually had one student from the 80s, so when they say 80s, everybody go, wait, we're the 90s, you know, we were born in the 90s. Okay, so I just remember in the 80s when I submitted my term paper, well, it was my thesis to get my master's degree, and there's a lot of equations because economics involve a lot of math. I had somebody type up the paper for me before I go for my defense in front of all my professors. And she used typewriter back then. We have word processor, but it's not as common yet back then. So she used typewriter, and I remember every time if there is a mistype on the equation, because these equations are tedious, you know, with the subscript or the superscript, when I tell her, you know, she has two choices. One choice is to retype the whole paper, not the whole paper, excuse me, that one page. If you don't want to use a wipeout, right? How many of you know what wipeout is? So if you wipe it out, you could write the symbol on it, you know, sometimes all this Greek letter, and it's very expensive. So every time she had retype it, it's $1 per page. Yeah. So I mean, today, look at it, you got computer has come of age, you know, today you could do so many revisions, just save it, right? And then print it out. So this is what happened. There's a whopping shift in demand curve to the right for the term paper revision. So people want to revise it more often, make it perfect, you know, just make sure you don't copy and paste it. So it has to be your original work. So, and when that happened, you see that you have the same effects like over there. That is, price comes down substantially. And I remember that was about how much I paid, roughly about $50 to have someone type my whole paper. Because it was like, and then plus the revisions, all that. So today it might cost about $7.50 just to get someone to revise it. Maybe less than that now. So you could see that. So therefore the quantity, demand, and supply for this kind of service, that is revision has gone up. Okay, next, so it's the same thing you see over there, okay? Let's look at the next one, and we don't have pictures for that, so I'm gonna do it on the board. An improvement in the weather, especially for agricultural products. Okay, very good. Tell me, what do you produce in this area? What do you have? Did I hear corn? What else?
Soybeans?
Soybean, very good. What else?
Tobacco.
Tobacco, very good. Yes, we got lots of those. And I think this is September, so November we'll have, you see people start picking cotton. They don't use a manual labor anymore. They use a big machine, you know, the harvester. Okay, so these are the agricultural products. So if the weather is good, so what do we want to produce here? Give me a product. So this is demand curve, this is supply curve. Oh, that's an awful G there. So what do you want to produce?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins? Ooh, that's not like a cash crops, right? That's more like you grow it in your garden. So yeah, about right now, people might be, well, not quite, yeah. October is when you get pumpkin. How about, let's use tobacco. Or we could use marijuana, if you like.
Yeah.
It would be, oh, you like that one?
Me, you
Hold
want
on.
All right, let's use that one. Great. That's all right. It's an agricultural product. So if you have a lot of rainfall, what happens? Huh?
The supply.
A supply curve will shift to the right because then you get more. So these people are very happy to get more marijuana because you get a lot of tobacco, you get a lot of sweet potato, you get a lot of corn, soya beans, cottons, all that because you got good rainfall. And so is marijuana, you know, because the rain does not distinguish between illegal or legal products. It just come down and bless all the produced, right? That's what happened, right? So supply could shift to the right, and so again, you have to do the same effects. So what are some of the things that will make it shift to the left?
Drought.
Okay, very good, drought. What else? Very good, there are a lot more.
Disease.
So if you have bad weather, what constitutes bad weather? Drought is one, what else?
Tornadoes, stuff like that.
Oh, so many. Yes, raise your hand, so I could, yes, somebody raise your hand. Yes, Adam?
Yeah, too much rain.
Too much rain. Yeah, that
Flooding.
could be a problem. 2 years ago, that was a problem in the summertime, and people could not grow anything because every time you try to regrow, you know, the flood came again, so you couldn't because it's wet. Yes, what else?
Tornado.
Tornadoes, very good, yes. What else?
Snow. Or like ice.
Yeah, too much snow, you get the frost, right? So then you have to harvest quickly, yes.
Nutrients being stripped from the soil.
The what?
Nutrients being stripped from the soil.
Ooh, I never thought about that one. Is that part of the weather condition?
You grow too much of one thing in the same area over time, the nutrients become less and less in the soil.
I see. That's not so much of the weather though. That's, you could control that. I mean, like Mother Nature, you cannot control that. Tsunami, hurricane,
Earthquake.
tornado, somebody mentioned that, earthquake, yes, very good. Fire, like forest fire, well, we don't
Volcano
have that.
eruption.
I'm sorry?
Volcano eruption.
Okay, we'll have it here. Well, actually, some people say, that's good, you know, because the lava, you know, after it's over, and that's supposed to be very rich topsoil, you know. But anyway, I think you get the point. Okay, so the last problem we want to look at, example we want to look at is we want to shift the graph. Now remember that all these examples we look at, we're shifting only supply curve. The other day we look at only shifting the demand curve. And then there are two other factors, increasing the number of suppliers that should shift it to the right. Okay, like September 11. If it hits a farming area, you destroy a lot of farmers in their land, for example, instead of New York City. Then you have less suppliers, supply could be shift to the left. For agriculture, it's like people like farmers. Expectation of lower price in the future, so they're quite similar to demand curve, so don't get the two confused. It looks like that's the only thing that's share the common factor is the last factor, number 5. Look at your group. For supply curve, and then on the demand curve is on point number 6. Expectation of lower price in the future. We could talk about it quickly. So if you expect the price to go up in the future, let's say the Mac computer. Go back to the same example. If this is, let's switch to M being a Mac computer now instead of marijuana. Okay, so in this case, we say that if you expect the price of Mac to go up in the future as a supplier, what do? Would you produce more now or less?
Less.
If you expect the price in the future to go up, let's say a month from now.
You said how much would you sell like now if the price goes up in the future?
Right, yeah. Would you sell more now
Don't
or
go
would you
up.
sell less?
So more.
Sell more.
If you expect the price to go up, you are the supplier, remember.
So you'd sell less now and then wait.
You will sell less now. And in fact, some of them might put it in a warehouse. Why sell so many now? And then when the time hit, the price is high, then you start rolling out all those rows and rows of PCs, and Mac because, So you might even hold the goods, like put it away, store it away. Okay, so, but if the price is going to be lower in the future, then you will try to sell as many as possible. And supply curve will shift to the right. So remember, every time we look at the supply curve, when we talk about a period, we're talking about the current period, not the future period. Okay? All right, this last example we're going to look at has got something to do with supply and demand curve shifting together now. So far you only look at demand curve shifting, supply curve shifting, and we ask questions like that on the test. Make sure that you could do it. So let's look at this example. This is an example for market for corn tortilla chips. So we start off once again, there are two cases here. So let's do the graph with me. This is case one. Okay, so here's your supply curve. And what do we call this? Is we call it CT. Okay, let's start with point A. So every time you draw the graph, you're practicing how to draw it. So when you do your homework problem, please, everybody, do not be stingy with your paper. Do not cram them all like small graph, If you want to draw them big, that's good, like one graph per page or two graphs per page. So it's very clear which direction you're going. So let's start off with a diagram like that. And then there are two factors I'm going to give you. One is on the demand side, one is on the supply side. I'm going to ask you to tell me which factors when we give it to you in the books that we look at. Don't draw the graph yet, okay? So just look at it, analyze it along with me. The first factor is there's a reduction in the price of corn harvesting equipment. So let's look at your the recap again, page 83. Tell me which of the factors are we talking about on the supply side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1.
So you got 20% right every time you hit it. So which one do you think it is?
Is it 1?
Did I hear something back there?
Is it 1?
Number 1, the answer for you. Anthony, answer for you. So what is it? Back there or here? Come from there.
Back there.
Okay. All right. So Anthony is right. So this is talking about the price of the. There it is. Corn harvesting equipment is your input, cost of production. So because remember, you have capital, you have labor. So a while ago we give labor as an example. If you want to produce something, it doesn't just happen. If you want to produce a baseball bat, right? If you're a producer, and it doesn't just happen, you have to hire labor to produce it. You have to use a machine to make it happen. Okay, so that one is factor number 1, and that's how I want you to do your homework. When you look at a question, go back and tell me which of the factors, so you understand a little bit better. Okay, so there's a reduction in price of corn harvesting equipment. So it is cheaper now, so therefore you will produce more. So supply curve shift to the right. I'm going to use a different color so you're not confused. And notice that I only shift to the right a little bit, not too far away. Now on the demand side, there's also a factor. There's a discovery that oils are harmful for people's health. And this is particularly talking about corn oil. So what happened here is if you read about it, let's say in New England Journals of Medicine, that, if you eat too much of this corn oil, it's going to cause cancer or something, something drastic like that. So how would people react? Do you think they'll buy more corn tortilla chip or less? Less. And actually, in this case, a lot less. Substantially less. So it shifts to the left quite a bit. The magnitude of the shift to the left is a lot more than the magnitude of the shift that affect the supply side. So where the two red lines are crossing, That's your new point B. So drop it down. And we say that this is, so what is the effects here? Somebody tell me. The effects will be from point A to point B. What about the equilibrium price? Is it higher or lower?
Lower.
This is lower, and the equilibrium quantity will be
Lower.
from point A to B. This could be 100, this could be 70. If you're not sure, you could go ahead and put a number, so that way you know for sure. So they're both lower, and this is case one. So then the question is asked, is this always like that? Is the price always coming down? Is the quantity always lower? Okay, Henry, you say no. What do you mean? Why? You just know it's not the same all the time, right? But do you know why? Okay. Now it's got something to do with this magnitude of the shift. So what if it is the other way? What if the people are more affected? This is case 2. So redraw the graph. Once again, you go B. This is CT, yeah. So once again, start off with point A. Drop it down. Here's your P, here's your Q. And so what if the supply side shift to the right is very much, a lot more, like this? Oh, this is not good. So in other words, farmers are realizing that, whoa, that's saving them a lot of money substantially because of this lower in the price of corn harvesting equipment that they could buy. And it turns out to be so efficient that, they actually supply a lot more. So it shifts a lot more to the right. But then the demand curve, people read about it and say, oh yeah, maybe they publish it in this top journal that not many consumers are reading, except for the academic people are reading it, so they don't know about that. It's not being well disseminated, the information. So therefore, demand curve only shift a little bit to the left. This is your point B. So what's the difference? What's the effects here? The effects here for pride, up or down?
Went down.
Still down? Okay, very good. What about Q now?
It went up.
This is now going up. Everybody see that? Okay, this is actually going up. So the final effects we say, what's the difference between the two? Okay, we got some time. Why don't you do the two graphs and hand it in? I'll give you points for doing the graph. Both of them. Go ahead and copy them and hand it in by the end of the class here. So this one is the first case, that's the second case. I should have told you earlier, right? So now you're like, I don't know how to do it because you have not taken notes. If you take the notes, no problem. So the final effects is the price should be, I'm giving you points for that. That's an in-class exercise that everybody should get it. All you have to do is just copy, and even copying students get it wrong. So please, all that I'm looking for is this very clear point that point B should be to the right. So precise drawing, point B should be to the left. So the final effects is, in both cases, prices have come down. So we say final effects is equilibrium price have come down. What about equilibrium quantity? In one case it's down, in another case it's up, correct? So we say it is ambiguous. So this is case 2, which is ambiguous. Don't copy it from your book because, it's a finished diagram, but if you do it with me when I do it, you get a better idea, okay? So the final answer is P star goes down, for sure, without any ambiguity. However, for Q star, it could be up or down, and we call it ambiguous. And you have to have this last line. when you head in, because then I know you understand the whole thing. And this means, Q stock can be up or down. But I wanna make sure that you label everything, okay? Because this is, your skill of copying. It's not like I'm asking you to do a homework. So do all the arrow, because I want your homework problem to be like that. Okay, this one shift to the left a lot more than supply could shift to the right. And this is just a vice versa. Supply could shift a lot more to the right than demand could shift to the left. Okay? I'm gonna give you